That was like what, 1960s when you heard Nibiru and the Nation of Islam. Was that, what year was that?
Somewhere in that time.
1960s.
1960s.
So the Nation of Islam, they actually knew something else. They call it Nibiru. They didn't just say the mother plane. They said Nibiru.
You use that term, mother plane, and mothership, with auxiliary ships around it, smaller ones, and what some of the capabilities. To try to recall this stuff now is a long time, man. But anyway, some of the fantastic stuff was they could bore a hole in the ground.
Yeah, I remember that.
For 1 mile down or something, and a bunch of them could do that, and then they could detonate, and you don't want to be there when that happens. And the thing was developed here on Earth, and somewhere in the Japanese islands in the Pacific, and they had a regular patrol schedule, and I don't know, I can't remember that part of it anyway, what the patrol schedule was. And if you got too technical with them, he said, you know, brother, we have a lot of things here on this earth that you can handle better than you handle that stuff up there.
Okay.
So let's move our conversation back to where it's practical.
So everybody didn't want to talk about it, with just certain people that want to talk about it.
Right.
So
some people didn't want to do it. Didn't want to talk about
so this minister you met that start talking about it, what was his name?
Benjamin Kareem.
Benjamin Kareem.
Right.
And he's the one that mentioned Nibiru.
Right.
So
Nibiru was the planet that somebody came from that I didn't understand at the time. But there were some advanced beings who had been here. And some of them were still here. They had conferences certain times to determine what the world would be like from that point on. And they looked like ordinary people. They did not need any security because nobody could point them out. They were not outstanding.
So they could actually walk around amongst us and you know.
Right, you wouldn't know it. And I remember talking about this stuff, and I'm trying to think if they had a name for them, but they wasn't Anunakki.
They wasn't Anunakki?
They would not. I didn't hear that. If they did, I didn't hear that.
Okay.
But here's what I was led to believe from my own sensitivity was that Master FARD Muhammad was one of them.
Came from, you just figured it out that Master FARD Muhammad was
yes, and nobody
Anunakki.
Right. I wasn't one of those people that you're referring to, didn't use the name. Because I hadn't heard the name myself at that time. And there's another one. I said Master FARD Muhammad, W.D. FARD. There's two of them.
So W.D. FARD and Master FARD were two different people.
Right.
That was your understanding.
Some people. I kept my mind to myself, kept my thoughts to myself on certain things that didn't coincide with what everybody was teaching. I still reserved the right to hold my own thoughts. And so Master FARD Muhammad and W.D. FARD were two different people. Going to Abdul.
Okay.
Why? Because when you hear the man talk about him, one did one thing, would do something, and the other one would do something else.
Oh.
I would say something else, not at the same time and place, but he would talk about, and I figured that as I advanced in the lessons, that this mystery would be cleared up. And so I didn't finish the whole course. And so some people knew, I guess, but to ask them something that was beyond my ability to comprehend, they didn't feel obligated to give me the answer. And the answer was given according to what you covered in the book and by the lessons. And so if you didn't cover the lessons, then you just wanted something to talk about that had no meaning to you. And so they push it off to something else.
So this brother Benjamin Kareem, he had a sort of special relationship with Dr. Farad Muhammad. You think?
Yes, I think he did.
You think he did?
The reason I think he did is because the reason that he was so far above the rest of the brothers, I say far beyond, because his knowledge or his exposure had been beyond what theirs had been. He wasn't necessarily old as some of them, but some had been, he might have been chosen to impart certain things to him. And so after the breakup of all of that, Nation of Islam and all this, and reorganized and all this, Master Farad Muhammad came to Brother Benjamin Kareem.
Okay.
And
so how long ago was that?
That was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Somewhere around 15 years ago.
So Dr. Farad came to Benjamin about 15 years ago.
Yes.
About 1995.
And stayed in his house, met his family, and left just like he came.
Just like he came. Mystery man.
Right. And his wife was excited about it today. Benjamin was dead, of course. And she said that she used to look at him, and she recognized him from the picture. And I'd like to get off this subject a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
And Benjamin asked her to take me to meet somebody else.
Okay.
There's a mysterious figure to me.
Okay.
She was jogging in the park one morning. Not one morning, but a few mornings. And this man is observing her. And he approached her. Don't be alarmed, lady. I have something important to talk to you about. And I could recognize the difference between you and you're not just anybody. I can recognize you. This is what, and we need to talk about this. And she let the man talk. And said, I got to meet your husband. So I said, I got to get you to my house. You're all to my house. And she said, okay, he's at work. And will you be in this evening? And I'll tell him about what you said. And Benjamin, being who he is, he went for it. And those are caught by the throat. The woman, you've been talking to these strange men, and he cut your hair off. But he went there, and his name was Brother James Ill.
James Ill, that's the brother that she met?
Yeah.
James Ill.
James Ill, this is one that she met after she met Master Farad Muhammad.
James Ill met Master Farad Muhammad?
I don't know. After she had met...
Oh, after she met Farad Muhammad, she met James Ill.
Okay, I met him.
You met James Ill?
Yes. Okay. Brother James Ill talked about Atlantis and Lemuria and who he got it from. And he talked about America before it became a nation and who occupied the land.
Okay.
And what their relationship was to some other stuff that I haven't connected with now.
It is more science stuff in.
And he showed me a picture of Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
Marcelino Manuel Braca, and Father Divine. On this picture, big picture, he pointed them out. These people studied together under Master Farad Muhammad.
Okay, Father Divine, Daddy Grace, and all those guys.
Yeah, Daddy Grace and his name was, because I didn't know what his name was. He told me.
Oh, Daddy Grace had a
his name, he was Portuguese. He was Portuguese descent, and his name was Manuel Marcelino Braca. Graca.
That was Daddy Grace.
Daddy Grace. That's what he set it down to, because most of the people couldn't say it, wouldn't say it. They did Daddy Grace. Okay, but he told me what the man's name was when he was a student under Master Farad Muhammad.
Okay, Daddy Grace was.
Yes.
A student.
And he was from New Bedford, Massachusetts. And then he set up temples all over the country. You know, all around, you know, and the thing that impressed me mostly about this brother James Hill was he said, if you notice, all these guys did not put a high value on spiritualism.
They didn't?
Yeah, he said, if you notice, they didn't put a high value on spiritualism as we do it in this country today as black folk. So those guys, he said, because what's his name? Charles' name? Master Farad Muhammad. He didn't do it either.
Okay.
He talked about practical stuff. They had something, you know, that, and it all happened in 1930, in that area, in that time frame. And also, he talked about, this is James Ill, he talked about Noble Drew Ali.
Okay.
And Moorish science.
Okay.
Moorish scientist.
Okay.
Okay. And he went into a lot of stuff because I aggravated him to death. And once Benjamin, his wife introduced me, I just go there until. He almost told me, get away. I don't have no thing else.
You're trying to find out.
And, but I asked him also. And he told me about the Moroccans and their influence into this land that we call the United States. That was most interesting to me.
Okay.
And what was meant about cutting down the cherry tree. How people used to write and talk in code and that keep truth hidden. This was mostly communication between George Washington and his father.
Okay. About cherry tree.
Yes. And he said it wasn't a cherry tree. It was a tree that was on the flag of the Moroccans.
Okay.
When they finally defeated the Moroccans.
Oh, so that was the code that they had defeated the Moroccans.
Defeated the Moroccans, and that meant that the Moroccans had to relinquish this land called North America to George Washington and his group.
Okay.
And this happened between the time that we did not have a constitution here.
What period was that?
Between 1776 and 1789.
Okay. So that's that period they said they had the first black president, John Hanson, and all that kind of thing.
Now, Henry, you know what Morocco is, right? Morocco? What is it?
It's a country on West Africa. It's on the hump of Africa.
In other words, blacks were here.
Blacks were here.
At the time and before George Washington conquered this land for the English. Blacks in America?
In America, yeah.
Yeah, they before slavery. Before slavery, we know it. And we knew it.